Hello and welcome to the Elephant TV. My name is Abdullahi and my guest is Wario Malicha. Wario, welcome to the Elephant TV.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullahi.
Yeah, let's start with, the conflict in Ethiopia, something that you've been writing about it extensively since it started. Why does the Ethiopian conflict resonate with you, somebody who is living in Kenya?
Thank you once again. First, I think the first thing is mostly around three folds. First is ancestral links. Borana's Sapuru larger Oromo community in Ethiopia, and by virtue of belonging to the largest Oromo community, we share some similarities and features. So, as our forefathers have already told us that we have links with Ethiopian, sons and daughters. So it's important to have links with what's happening in the home ground. Secondly, Ethiopia is our neighbor as Kenya, so it's good to keep in check of what's happening in our neighbor. So, if anything happens, there's a ripple effect in Kenya. So it's imperative to keep in touch on what's happening in Ethiopia. Additionally, there's a lot of skewed analysis from pundits from the whole of Africa. Most of the analysts, those are based in the high-end hotels in New York. They are just commenting on what they don't know. So there's a lot of skewed analysis on what is happening in Ethiopia and even across the neighboring countries. So that brings lacks of objectivity in this analysis. So that's why I found that it's imperative for me as a neighbor and as a son whose lineage belongs to Ethiopia, I have to pop in and bring issues into table with objectivity.
Yeah, and so you've mentioned about the cultural links, you've mentioned about the neighborhood, and you've mentioned that there are other, analysts who probably have got different ideas from you. How does this conflict affect you directly or indirectly?
I think the twofold is directly and indirectly. Indirectly, the larger part of the ripple effect is indirectly, but the direct effect is psychosomatic issues. As a human being, you find social media videos and from Tigray region that people are dying of hunger, and people are being killed and stuff. People are bombed. So when you find such videos, you become traumatic and get out of some psychological issues. Indirectly is about it has maybe like two folds about trade disruption. People take their livestock on the other side of the Ethiopia. So, and they also do business on the other side of Ethiopia. So when there is conflict, it tends to disrupt this flow. And maybe some of us are doing business on that side. So that disruption usually causes business loss. Second is about the inflow of arms. Marsabit is so volatile. So currently, South region is so volatile. So when the conflict is setting up in Ethiopia, the ease of access to these small molecular points is so high, and it's going to intensify the intermittent conflict currently in South region. Additionally, it's about refugee crisis. When the refugees come to Ethiopia, to Moyale, they put strain on the already strained resources in the county. So the scarce county resources, which is already being embezzled now, is not fit for, or it's not available for all the refugees and the local people. And also the issue of maybe social issues. Socially, people cross, when refugees come here, there's a lot of issues like maybe fight, crime increases, and also disease spread. Thank you.
Yeah, but when in most of your writing, if I got it correct, you come very strongly against the Tigray People's Liberation Front. Why is that? Why do you think? What are some of the issues or problems that the TPLF has caused, not just inside Ethiopia, but also for the people in the Marsabit area, Marsabit Isiolo area?
Oh, thank you. I think, as you have said, I've written strongly against TPLF, from mainly to direct community, to the direct government, and to the TPLF region, to TPLF government. TPLF is the most brutal regime since the start of Ethiopia. From the attack on Lishu massacre by the Ethiopian Janjaweeds to the 2000 national election, where about close to 200 people are killed. and the Irecha massacre in the Bishoftu, where close to and substantial people of 1,000 people were killed. So Ethiopia, TPLF has been brutal in this scenario. Additionally, they have other positive part, but which is only linked to their own region, like the development of Mekele. They diverted all the resources to Mekele. It's supposed to be they are defined as developmental state, but literally they channel all the resources to Mekele region. Thus, is suffocating other regions in terms of economic development and other issues. So TPLF, from analysis, they have been brutal and they have been the divide and rule tactics in the region. So they're keeping Amara on touch, Oromo on the other side, and even the Ogaden, so that the people are busy fighting each other while they use the resource for their own development and for their own cartel use.
How about, in Marsabit area, you speak to many people and they say some of the human rights violations that they have committed on this side of the border.
Okay, this another part that borders the Ethiopia. It's one of the people, one of the region that backs up the Ethiopia physically on the Oromo Liberation Front, the guys that TPLF regard as a terrorist. So whenever sometimes they cross the border and attack the Sololo people, and they force them to produce the OLF guys. So in the process, they cause rape, they kill people, and finally issue of human rights pop up in that scenario. So TPLF has caused brutality within and without Ethiopia.
I just wanted to ask you, as somebody who has, all these links and very strong feelings about the TPLF, how did you receive Abiy coming into power when he did in April 2018? What did his coming to power represent?
I think Abiy is Amhara Oromo parentage. So by virtue of belonging to the people who are suppressed by the TPLF, Amhara on one side and Oromo on the other side, I think he was supposed to weed out. My thought was that he should weed out all the crises that happen in Ethiopia and take an objective stand. Additionally, he has been one of the top intelligence in the TPLF, so he knows all the gaps that are within the Ethiopian security system and intelligence and all security issues. So he's supposed to weed out or fill those policy gaps that are within the security apparatus. And also, when Abiy joined the government in 2018, he was able to, literally conjoin Eritrea and Ethiopia into security table. So he was able to bring, separated families back into their status, and also he got a Nobel Prize for that. So my thinking was that Abiy was supposed to bring objective governorship to the state, but contrary, he didn't do as supposed to be expected by many. So, he captured a lot of Oromo, guys who go against his will, and he put them in jail. So he has two sides on this scenario.
Yeah, I also would want to speak, because you've spoken about the cultural links between the people living on the border of Marsabit and Isiolo in Ethiopia. The role of Abagada, right? Increasingly, since the devolution, he started playing a much bigger role in the political process, endorsing a candidate here, sometimes even taking a very active role, when in reality, the institution of Abagada is largely cultural institution, but it's now very, very clear that he plays a political role. What are your thoughts about the institution and the role of Abagada who resides in Ethiopia, but continues to have influence over the people living on this side, especially in Isiolo and Marsabit?
Thank you. I think that system of governance is exemplary, one of the indigenous egalitarian democracy in traditional egalitarian democracy in the whole of Africa. So it's even regarded by the UN as a unique cultural identity and governance structure. So according to customary law of Serdawa, we are forbidden Abagada is forbidden to cross to Ethiopia, to other countries like Kenya. But of course, the guys, what the guys call safari boat is used to cross, go up to Mombasa, which is far on the corner of Kenya. So I think he has broken some of the customary laws according to my stand, and currently his participation is more deep under devolution than previous system of governance, the federal system. So centralized system. So his involvement in the current politics is not linked to any social or economic development. It's about value adding to the current political systems. People are gaining from the system Abagada. So because he has the unity of trust and purpose, the people tend to those people aspiring to be a governor tend to be attached to this. They work on the side of Ethiopia, and you know they endorsed, not on the ground of honesty, trustworthy, accountability. No, it's on the ground of what paycheck you can bring on the table from my stand. So they're able to be endorsed on that ground, and then this one does not. It cascades to the elders on the ground. That once Abagada endorses somebody, and that means becomes a final and incontestable conditions. So a sort of validation for political gains by Abagada, as well as the Council of Elders in Marsabit. His role in the politics in the election is that it doesn't add much value, as I've said before, to social and economic development of the county, but rather it's a political game. So currently they have those two guys. They have divides. They have some divides within the Abagada itself. One side endorsing the other side. The other side endorsing also another politician. So generally they are losing value as compared to the previous times. Thank you.
Yeah, what is your thought about, elections, with everything that is going on in Ethiopia, the question of Abagada, and also generally, insecurity in Marsabit? What are your thoughts broadly about Kenya's August elections around the counties?
Okay. The current election in Kenya, maybe if I talk from the national point of view, I cascade down to the local level. I think Kenya played a very big role. They tried to play a role in bringing security situation in Ethiopia because of their own security situation. Because once they fail to do that, the inflow of arms, as I've said before, is highly likely. So Ethiopia has tried to play a bigger role Kenya has tried to play a bigger role in ensuring that the security is harnessed at the border county, in Marsabit and also the area of Wajir and Turkana. Additionally, at the local level there's current waves of insecurity. So I think the national government has been harnessing some power of machinery along the border, and also they are not able to bring a good policy strategy, but I think they're on the right path towards that.
Right. Thank you so much, Wario, for your time. And I hope we'll have another time to talk about these and many other issues. Thank you once again.